Organic traffic is the largest source of website traffic there is, and this is traffic coming directly from Google. Now, naturally, for traffic from Google to come in, your website needs to be indexed. More specifically, the articles that you write need to get indexed, which means that if the article you publish isn't indexed, it's not going to get any traffic. So how do you index a page on Google manually? Let's learn that today. So what really happens when you publish a post is that for Google to know that this post exists, it will send crawlers to your website, which will then crawl it and then understand what the content is and then index it on the search engine, so that when someone searches for the right keyword or your targeted keyword, your website and your article shows up. A lot of time, the frequency is determined by the amount of content you push and how important is your website. Like, how often do other readers visit it? If it's not very important, Google will set a lower priority to it, which means that indexing time would be longer. If you're a digital publisher who does not publish very often, say for example, you publish a recipe every week, so the publishing schedule is spaced apart compared to say news, where you're probably publishing about 30 to 40 articles every day. So the difference here is that publishing one article a week, the indexing time might just be longer, and that way you might just lose out on some traffic before it's indexed. It's also possible that Google might not index it at all. In order to show you that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to publish a new post on this blog that I have, and then go to Search Console, show how it appears if it's indexed, if it's not indexed, and then I'll show you how you can index it. So let's quickly go add a new post. The post, I have a copy ready. I'm just going to paste that. I'm not going to look at the formatting and everything right now. This is the URL. I'm just going to go ahead and publish it. I'm not looking at getting the SEO and bits right. It's a sample post. So let's go ahead and publish it. So if you see, this is the post that I have written and published right now. I'll quickly copy the URL. Now what you need to do is go to Google Search Console. So go to Google Search Console. If you haven't set up Google Search Console, I've created a video on how you can set up Google Search Console for your WordPress website as well. Do check it out, that will be helpful. This page, I'll click on Start Now. And as you can see, this is my Search Console for this test website. I'm going to quickly post in the URL, hit enter. And now what Google is going to do is it's going to look at its index and come back to me saying if the URL is available or not. Now I've just published it. Of course, my test website is not very active, so naturally it's not indexed. And this is how it looks for a website or a URL that is not indexed. So you'll get the message saying that the URL is not on Google. For example, I'll also just show you what it'll look like for something that is indexed. So for example, I've gone to the home page URL, and as you can see, the URL is indexed. So you get a URL is on Google message. Now, going back to the newly published post, all you need to do is put in your URL in the search bar. And once you get this URL is not published tab, you have an option to click request indexing. Now when you click request indexing, you basically request Google to send crawlers and crawl this new website, or rather crawl this new post that you've just posted, and then Google is going to index it. Now it might take some time, the request. It's not necessary that Google will index it instantly. This request goes to the queue, and depending on what the queue is like, it will differ. Now, requesting indexing multiple times might not jump you up the queue, so don't try and do that. So this is pretty straightforward. However, if you are publishing very often, it's always good to submit your sitemap to Google. So that ensures that any new URL that appears, or rather any new post that you publish, it appears on the sitemap. The sitemap gets crawled by Google and your new post or URL gets indexed automatically. I've also created a video on how to add your website sitemap to Google Search Console. Do check that out as well. As for indexing, that was it.